morning everybody, and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Michaela. Welcome. Hi. If you are not new and you're a long-time viewer or somebody I already know, hello, welcome back. Today we are going to be talking about the truths and things that I have learnt since moving abroad, or about moving abroad, I guess. Chickens chasing a lizard. As per usual, I have written down like a bunch of notes on my phone, and I sort of just wanted to go through them and talk about what I have experienced since moving. So again, if you're new here, I grew up, born and bred in New Zealand, a Kiwi. I lived there for 27, almost 28 years, essentially 28 years. I moved to Australia last July, which was just a few days before my 28th birthday. So very, very new here. We're celebrating almost a year being here, or depending on when this video exactly goes up, a year of me living here, which is why I wanted to do this video, to kind of talk about what I experienced when I moved, but also like in the first year of doing this. So just for anyone who might be thinking about moving abroad, or maybe you've done it and you've got some experiences that you're wondering, like, is this normal? I kind of just wanted to put it out there, to put it in the universe, make this video and see if I can either help somebody or find people that feel the same way, because I know, especially for me, it has been a little bit like isolating in a way, and there have been times that I have worried, like, am I the only person experiencing this? So hopefully, if you're one of those people, I can alleviate a little bit of that worry for you in this upcoming informational. Okay, first one is super, super obvious. It's the fact that you are gonna you're going to feel, I did it again. You're going to feel a million emotions. That's what was happening. I was combining those two words. You're going to feel a million emotions all at once. So it's going to be terrifying. You're going to be scared. You're going to be worried. You're going to be nervous. All of those like negative, scary things that make you want to change your mind. But you're also going to feel really excited, really happy, just thrilled the second that you step foot off of that plane in your new country, in your new life. It's just exhilarating. It's so exciting. It's very, if you had like travel like me, obviously New Zealand and Australia aren't that far apart, but I did take 3 planes. It's a whole day worth of flying. It was like a 12 or 13 hour thing for me. So by the time I stepped foot in Rockhampton, which is where I now live, it was very much just like a big release. I felt so much relief. I was so excited to be off a freaking plane and that my travel was just done. So it's a lot, like, and you're allowed to feel all of those things. That's the thing. I think when you move abroad, a lot of people are just focusing on the fact that it's exciting and it's new and there's so much to do and it's such a happy time. But you can feel those negative emotions, and it's absolutely fine to, you know, because you are going to leave behind people and places and things that you miss, and it's okay to be sad about that. It's okay to be nervous because new things are scary, you know? You don't have to feel all these positive things all at once. It's okay to be a little bit scared or a little bit emotional. In my case, very emotional, but it's fine. And you know what? Even if all you can feel are positive emotions, that's okay too. You don't have to feel like you should be feeling, you know? Does that make sense? You don't have to feel any which way. Whatever you feel at that moment is absolutely okay, because your feelings are valid, regardless of what they are. Case in point. Following on from that though, the first few days and weeks are probably going to be very, very overwhelming. So for me personally, I was so excited to be here that I wanted to dive into my life. Like, I gave myself a week before I started my new job, so I very much wanted to get out and about, start learning the layout of Rockhampton, start seeing where things were and what was going on and what I could get into, and just kind of integrating myself into Mark's life that he had built, because obviously my partner moved about 10 months before I did. So I was very excited to get into all of that, and he was very excited to show me things. But once we kind of dove into it, it actually became very, very overwhelming very quickly. I do remember going to the mall here, and I was so excited to just go to the mall and have a look around and see what kind of shopping was here, because we don't have a lot of shopping in Wanganui where I'm from. It's a bit limited, so I was super excited. But once we actually got to the mall and started walking around, I started feeling really anxious and really tired and really like judged. which is so not Rockhampton at all. I think it was literally just because there was so many people and that's not what I was used to. And the mall is quite large by my standards. Again, I'm not from a big city or anything like that, so it was a big adjustment for me. And I remember ending up just going back to the car. I started bawling my eyes out. Like, I just got so overwhelmed by everything. So just a reminder that it is exciting and you're going to want to get into it, but just take your time. Don't pressure yourself, don't rush yourself, and especially if you are feeling a little bit anxious or a little bit tired after your travel days as well, just don't rush. Also, I guess just realize that not everything is going to happen. Like, even if you do want to rush and you do want to dive into it and you're feeling super ready, not everything works out the way that you think it's going to. And I think that was something that was big for me as well, because one of the things I had to do was like order drawers, and I wanted the same set of drawers that Mark had just so that they matched. But we went to get them, the store didn't have them, they had to order them. They were like, oh, it's going to take 3 weeks. So I ended up living out of my suitcase for 2 weeks before I left New Zealand, because I had sold all of my furniture. And that was the only place I could keep my clothes, was a suitcase. And then living out of a suitcase for 3 weeks once I had moved to Australia. So it felt really hard to kind of really settle in and get moving, because I was like, this isn't my home, you know, I'm still living out of a suitcase. This isn't like my house, I don't have anything of mine here. So as much as I wanted to settle in and wanted to feel like this was my home, it did take a while to sort of start getting there, and it did probably take, I want to say 2 or 3 months. It was a little bit weird because I wanted to integrate myself so badly, but then there was also the issue of not wanting to take over Mark and his dad's space, because obviously they live here. They are the ones who have been living here for a significant amount of time, and I didn't want to just turn up and bulldoze my way in and start changing everything and doing whatever I wanted. So it's definitely something where there's a delicate balance going on. And just because you don't settle in right away doesn't mean that you don't belong here. You just have to give it time. A big one for me that was a real shock is that your first job might not be the job for you. And in New Zealand, I worked for the same company for 6 years and I loved it. It was my thing. I was so passionate about it. I loved the people that I worked with. It was just such a cool role. It was very me. I think anybody who knows me will know that like that job was my life. I loved it. And so coming here, I was really excited because I got a job before I came. So I spent like the last few weeks in New Zealand really excited to start this new job and really get into it. And it was in a whole new career, you know, a different field. I was so excited. And then it just sort of didn't work out. I spent 3 months at that job before I decided that it was not for me. And then I moved to something else, something again in a completely like total left field switch. And that was also a job that I really enjoyed. It was something that kept me active. It was something that got me outside, which I wanted to do. I loved the people that I worked with. I have met some of the best people at that second job, and I still talk to them now, because unfortunately that job also did not work out in the long run. So I spent 6 months at that job. I really thought that I was just gonna come here and settle in right away and get this like amazing new career and make a name for myself and be this like the best version of myself that I could ever be, you know. And having to leave that first job really shook me. So I guess it definitely did kind of like pull me back out of that like naivety. The job market here and the work market is very different to New Zealand, and I think that's something that I just wasn't expecting, and I don't know why. I kind of just assumed that the experience that I had in New Zealand with my job of 6 years was just going to sort of replicate itself and it would feel exactly the same and I'd have the same sort of experience, and I was very mistaken. And that's okay. I have learned. I definitely learned from that first job, so going into the second one I had a different mindset, toughed that one out for 6 months, again decided it wasn't for me, it wasn't worth it. My mental health and my physical health is definitely more important than a job, regardless of how much I love the people there. And so I have changed again, I've pivoted again, entirely new career. And I have currently, as of this video, been at that job a little bit shy of 3 months. I am loving it. There is so much to learn and so much to do, and again, an amazing network of people. I have met some really, really lovely people so far, and I'm just enjoying getting to know them and spending time with people. Yeah, all of my jobs that I have done here have been very left field for me, and I don't think my family and friends at home have kept up very well, because I'm sure to them it seems like, oh, I quit this job, oh, I quit this job, I'm doing something different now. But I very much wanted to use this opportunity of moving to another country to reinvent myself, to find something that I love, that I'm passionate about. I want to have a job where I want to go to work every day, where I'm excited to go to work every day. And those first two opportunities just weren't that for me, and that's absolutely okay. So if you come here and you try a job, or you try 2 jobs or 3 jobs or 5 jobs, and they're not for you, that's okay. I'm also kind of at the age, I'm in my late 20s, I'm 28, 29 years old, depending on when this video goes up. And it's okay to want to reinvent yourself. You know, I heard this thing a little while ago about, like, apparently a lot of people want to switch something in their life, whether it's their, like, profession or where they live or something, make a big life change around the age of 27. Apparently it's very, very common, and that's definitely where this all started for me. So I'm still finding myself. I feel like in a way I'm starting all over again. I feel like I'm 20 years old again and trying to find the job that fits me and a job that I love, but it's absolutely okay. There's no time limit on these kind of things, and you shouldn't rush yourself just to settle into something if it's not perfect for you. This is your one life, your one opportunity of living, and you might as well spend it doing something you really like. So at the moment, really enjoying my current job, but if in 2 months, 6 months, a year's time it turns out to not be for me, that's absolutely okay, and I will continue looking elsewhere. The next 2 things really kind of tie into each other. So I had them written in like 2 very different places in my list, but I'm just gonna smash them together. So the first one is, let your people love you before you go. It's very, very easy to just kind of continue in your regular life and be like, I'll talk to them later, I'll see them later, I don't need to go to that event, I'm too busy, there's too much to do. But like, let your people love you. Spend extra time with your friends and your family. Go out of your way to do things you typically wouldn't do. Go to events you might normally skip. Just things like that. Make extra memories, you know, because you are going to be missing out on a lot of time with these people, and it is very, very easy to get very lonely when you're away. So make extra memories, spend extra time, spend, you know, every waking minute or every free minute you have with somebody you love in some capacity, because it's worth it and you're gonna need it. You know, let your people come to the airport to see you off, even if you don't want some big emotional goodbye. You know, when Mark left, we definitely didn't do that. It was just me and him, because we wanted something like intimate and small. But then immediately after he left, we kind of felt bad, like, oh, Mark didn't get like a big goodbye with all of our friends and stuff, he just had me. But then when I left, a bunch of my friends came with me, and as much as it was very, very hard to leave them, it felt nice to be surrounded by my people until the very last second, I guess you could say. I am determined not to cry in this video. Get back in there. And then once you're gone, don't forget to continue communicating. Again, I've said it in many videos, I'm so shit at communicating. Like, I just forget to answer people, I forget to message, I think about people in my head and I go, I should reach out to them, and then I never do. But you're gonna have to get better at that if you want to keep these people in your life. So, technology these days gives you a million ways to communicate, whether it's email or text message or like Messenger on some form, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, you know, you can talk to people in so many ways, and just make sure you utilize that. If these are people that you truly love, don't let those relationships fall to the wayside just because you're suddenly somewhere new, you know? It's so important. And then the second point that I wanted to just attach to this is communicate with your people when you're lonely. Don't self-sabotage or isolate, shut yourself off, because it's just going to make it worse. And it's definitely something I've done a couple of times where I have felt increasingly lonely. And instead of talking to someone about it, I've just, you know, come to my bed and had an early night and sat on TikTok and fucking cried, or been real sad, been real moody, you know, and it's such an easy thing to alleviate by just calling someone or talking to someone. And I think the first couple times that I did it, Like, you know, I definitely wallowed. I definitely let myself sit in those emotions for far longer than I should have. Whereas now, when I'm feeling lonely, and like any of my friends can contest to this, I am a needy motherfucker on a good day. So when I'm feeling lonely, I'll literally just get in a group message or a chat with my friends and I'll be like, hey, I'm lonely, love you, can you like send me love right now? Because I miss you. And I'll make my friends message me and be like, oh my god, I love you so much. But it's worth it. It works. And sometimes you do have to remind people, because if you leave behind a friend group like I did, like I've got a couple of friend groups that we left behind, they still have each other. You know, they're still very much involved in each other's lives. They see each other, and sometimes it is just easy enough to give them a quick reminder of like, hey, I love you guys. Don't forget about me. I love you. And just talk to me, please. Are you busy? Like, are you busy? Again, that's the easiest message to send if you're feeling lonely. Are you busy? Do you have time to chat? Do you have 5 minutes, 10 minutes to reconnect with a person that you love? It's not that hard. Just make sure you do it. Make yourself do it. Don't just be a little bed blob. Stay positive. A negative mindset can make you resentful very quickly. And again, that's something that I've dealt with. You know, when I was struggling with leaving my first job, I very much was angry at the situation and at myself, because I was like, how could you let this happen? You're such a failure. Why did you even come here? And there's been multiple times, you know, again, it happened again when I left my second job. Chicken, oh my goodness. She's still after that lizard. It's on the outside of the window. Yeah, I still do it sometimes. I get lonely and then I feel bad, or, you know, maybe something happens and it doesn't go my way, or it's not how I expected it, or, you know, a lot of people especially move to Australia from New Zealand because everyone says the money is so significantly better, and that's what you're expecting when you come over, and honestly, it's not. It's not that different. It really, really depends, hello chicken, on what profession you're in. If you want to earn big money, there are a few select professions that you need to come here and get a part of, and Mark and I obviously don't do those, so we earn about the same as what we did in New Zealand, if not, honestly, in my case, a little bit less. So sometimes I do still have that complex of like, was coming here even a good idea, because I make less money than I did at home, you know, I have less here than I did at home, but I kind of just have to take a second to remind myself that I worked for everything that I had at home for 10 years. I have been here 1 year. And when you compare the achievements that I've made in 1 year to what we made in 1 year back home when we were very first starting out, I'm significantly further ahead than what I was. So it is very, very easy to have like negative and overwhelming and like self-doubt going on, all of those kind of thoughts, but you kind of just have to remind yourself that you made this choice for a reason, and you're gonna stick it out and you're gonna give it its best go, and just make the most of what you do have. The cat is losing her fucking mind. Yeah, I'm basically just trying to say, stay positive, stick it out, dedicate yourself. It's very, very easy to doubt yourself and your decisions in this life, not even when it comes to moving abroad. I'm talking about like day-to-day decisions too. So just really back yourself and keep that positive mental attitude going as much as you can. Jacksepticeye reference. PMA. Also a positive thing, it really is a chance to reinvent yourself. You can create an entire new life. You're in a new place where nobody knows you, and for me that's a fantastic thing, because it definitely felt like a clean slate, and that's what I wanted, that's what I needed. So I'm somewhere that I don't know, but they don't know me. You know, you've got to put a positive spin on things. So it's very overwhelming when you look at a whole new city and say, I don't know where I am, I don't know where I'm going, I don't know where anything is, I'm all by myself. But if you sit there and kind of flip that narrative a little bit, and it's like, I can be whoever I want to be because nobody here knows me. I can do whatever I want, I can be whoever I want. I have this opportunity to make myself into a person that I want to be. It's been fun. As much as it's been overwhelming and scary at times, it's so much fun. And I can't wait. Like, I go to a new gym, I walk new places and see new things, we do new hobbies that we've never ever thought about trying at home. And it's, yeah, it really is your chance to start fresh and just be whoever the hell you want to be, because no one is around to stop you or judge you or tell you what to do. Just do whatever you want. It's fantastic. That's my favorite part about moving overseas, is just, I have 2 things left to talk about and they're not really that positive. So I'm very, very sorry, but it is just a bit of a PSA. This one is more of like a, hey, just letting you know if you're about to experience this. Making friends as an adult is hard. I work with some really, really lovely people and have worked with really lovely people, but there's only like a handful of people that I would consider like talking to outside of work. There's only one person that I hang out with outside of work. Like, I've been here a year and I would consider myself to have, you know, one friend. And I love her, I adore her. I don't know if she watches these videos, but if you do, hello. And you know, it is hard. It's very hard. I haven't gotten myself into any sort of like club or activity or anything out in the community, which definitely is on me. Like, I should do more of that, but yeah, it's hard to make friends as an adult. So just be aware that I think that kind of plays into the loneliness a little bit, because as much as you can talk to your friends and family online or see them on video, it's definitely not the same as having someone in real life to like go and do things with and spend time with physically. So I'm finding that a little bit difficult, but it's okay. I'm working on it and I'm not going to give up working on it. There are, like I said, a couple of people that I do chat to that I would really like to spend time with outside of work. I think I just need to work a bit harder on making that happen. So if you are in a new country and you're struggling to make friends, just be aware that you're not alone. It is difficult. For some reason, making friends as a child is a million times easier than as an adult, I think, because when you meet people, you can't just like trauma dump on them unless you're drunk, and I don't really drink anymore, so hello. I have my cats. They're friends, right? And the last one, again, please just be aware for those traveling, the first trip home is significantly harder than when you left. And Mark warned me about this, and my wonderful friend B, who has done it, warned me about this. But I don't think you realise how bad it's going to be until you actually have to do it. Like, you know? I'm going to take a couple of breaks when doing this part, because obviously our trip to New Zealand was only in May, so still very fresh, still dealing with a lot of emotions about it, and I'm adamant that I'm not going to cry in this video, so give me a second. Okay, yeah, first trip home, significantly harder than leaving. And I think it's because you go back and you see these people who are all so excited to see you and so happy to see you that it is just the most like positive, loving, warm atmosphere. At least for us, this was my experience anyway. Can't talk for everybody, but everyone was so excited to see us. It was like the best parts of being at home was all you got to experience, you know. There wasn't really any negativity or life stresses to deal with, I suppose. So it was like everyone was happy all the time. There was so much like love, and you know, so many for me, because I'm a very big physical touch person, so you know, there's a lot of like hugs from everybody, a lot of laughter, just being close to everybody, and that's what I crave. So super big experience for me. And then leaving is like you've had a taste of the best part of what your life was, and then you just have to leave again and go back. So it was rough. There were a couple of places where, like, I'm not gonna lie, I actually did really, really well seeing our family, both of our families, like Mark's siblings, we went to see them, and Mark's mum, and then like my family we all had dinner with. I did so well seeing those people. Pat on the back for me, didn't cry once. And I think it was just because we had like such a good time, but also they were like fleeting visits, because we didn't have a lot of time. But seeing our friends, different story. I think the 2 worst ones for me was when we left Christchurch. Why am I like this? Hardest one for me was leaving Christchurch, because I was leaving all of my my little friend group down there behind, and the wedding that we went to of Chelsea and Caleb. Chelsea is like one of my longest friends in the entire world, and we used to be, when we were kids, like glued at the hip, like we were those kids. And I think getting back together and spending more time with her, it kind of just like immediately ignited that for me again. Like, I love her so much. So getting on the plane in Christchurch was rough. Like, I don't know if they saw because they were waiting in the windows. I don't know if they saw because I never asked, but I was bawling like a baby up until we like got on the plane, took our seats. I was like, okay, I can't see anybody anymore. I need to like get my shit together because now I'm crying in public and it's just embarrassing. Like, and we had shit to do when we got off the plane at the other end. So I was like, girl, get it the fuck together. But that one was very, very hard. That was my first like, holy shit, this is a goodbye. And it sucked. The second one was like the day we left. Like I said, all of our friends came to the airport to see us off and it was lovely. We had like breakfast together. We hung out for like a last hour. And then when you say your goodbyes, it was like, holy shit, this is the goodbye, you know? So it sucked really bad. I was gonna say just as bad as the first time, but honestly worse than the first time. So much worse than the first time. And I think, I don't know why. I wish I knew why, but yeah. It was rough. And I cried in the airport, and I cried getting on the plane, and then I cried in the plane. And then, yeah, it kind of took like, it took a while for me to calm down that time. I ain't even gonna lie to you, I was a fucking mess, bro. And it got to the point where Mark was like, look, if you miss them that much, we will send you home. Like every couple months you can just come visit by yourself, you know, just make sure that you're seeing your people and blah, blah, blah. Like if it is that hard for you. And once we got home, like back to Australia, I mean, it's definitely like we just settled into life and it's absolutely fine. Like I don't feel the need to go home every 2 seconds, you know. I think it's just the like saying goodbye part is the part that's really hard for me. So yeah, just be warned, it's really hard. You think leaving for the first time is hard, but coming back and getting a taste of everything that you've missed and leaving again is worse. So do with that information what you will. I'm currently coping really fine. We talk to our friends all the time, and like I said, getting back into the day-to-day swing of things, you know, going to work, having things to do, keeping myself occupied. And honestly, I really, really love living here. So I miss my people, but I don't miss New Zealand as of yet. So this is a warning for anyone who may be about to do this. I'm telling you that it's gonna suck, but you need to like know that however much you think it's gonna suck, times that by about 10. I don't know if I want to do it again though. No, I can't wait. I'm already like planning our next trip back to New Zealand, but I'm not sure at what point it stops being hard. I don't know. Mark's done it a couple of times and he seems to be dealing okay, but he's also not an emotional little bitch like I am. So maybe we'll have to do like 2 or 3 more visits and I'll update you on how the leaving is going. Yeah, that's this video. That's sort of my like advice, observations, update. I don't really know what you want to call this video, but that is what I have experienced in my first 12 months living in a new country. I don't really know what the update's going to be. I can't really tell you where our future lies in terms of Australia. We are thinking of a few things. We're in the process of selling our house in New Zealand, but we have not decided what that means for us here. Like, we don't know if we want to buy a house here, if we want to go and like rent our own place instead of living with Mark's dad for forever, even though I'm very, very grateful that we live here because it's just great. Like, it's a nice house, it's someone else to help us entertain the cats, it's someone else to spend time with, stops you getting a little bit lonely. But yeah, I think it's definitely come to the point for us where I've been here a year, Mark's been here almost 2, and we do kind of sit down quite frequently now and be like, okay, what do we want for ourselves? You know, what does our future look like? You know, is it moving back to New Zealand? Is it moving somewhere else? Is it buying a house in Australia? Is it moving to a different part of Australia and trying something new? You know, I'm not sure yet, and it's nerve-wracking and it stresses me out. I'm not gonna lie, I'm very, very stressed a lot of the time when I think about my future because I don't like uncertainty and I don't like not having a plan, but trying to be positive like I just talked about, trying to take my own advice, and just kind of see where it takes me and just be a little bit excited for the unknown for once in my life. Don't know if I can do that, but we're working on it. You'll see. Anyway, whatever we choose to do, I will keep you updated. If you do want to see more of my videos, whether they're little chatty things like this or whether there's some of the other content that I put up on my channel, please subscribe. If you have any advice for me going into my second year living abroad, maybe leave it down below, because I am feeling a little bit lost at the moment. I would love a little bit of advice or direction if anybody's got some. Won't say no. Yeah, what was that? Like, leave a comment, subscribe. See you next week. Bye.